My husband smiled when the K9 lunged toward our luggage. It wasn't a big smile. Grant Harper was too controlled for that. It was just a tiny, upward pull at one corner of his mouth, the kind of expression most people would miss, unless they had spent 18 years watching him charm investors, lie to colleagues, and look straight into my eyes while telling me I was imagining things. But I saw it. I saw the flicker of anticipation in his face, the pulse jumping in his jaw, and the way his hand tightened around the handle of his carry-on as the German Shepherd moved closer to the conveyor belt. He thought I was about to be destroyed in front of everyone. He thought airport security was about to tear open my suitcase, find the locked metal case he had hidden inside it, and hand him the ending he'd been planning for months. Me in handcuffs, him grieving in public, and his mistress free to step into my life while I disappeared behind a steel door somewhere far from home. What Grant didn't know was that I had already changed the script. By the time that dog reached the belt, the locked case was no longer in my suitcase. It was in his mistress's bag. The first thing I noticed when we walked into the premium security line at O'Hare was the smell of roasted coffee and floor polish. Airports always smell like people trying to pretend they aren't afraid to leave their lives behind for a few days. It was 6:40 inches the morning, and the terminal glowed with that cold, expensive light that makes everyone look either exhausted or dishonest. In Grant's case, it was both. I stood beside him holding a paper cup of vanilla latte, my black cashmere coat folded over one arm, and watched him glance at my suitcase for the 5th time in less than 2 minutes. "Relax," he said too casually. "We're running ahead of schedule." His voice was warm, almost playful to anyone else. He looked like a successful husband taking his wife on a luxury getaway. At 49, Grant still knew how to wear concern like a custom suit. He had silver at his temples, broad shoulders, a polished executive smile, and the kind of easy confidence that made strangers trust him in elevators. It had made me trust him once too. I took a slow sip of coffee and smiled back. "I'm perfectly relaxed." "Good." He leaned in and kissed my temple. "That's all I want this week, Ev. No stress. Just you and me. You and me, right?" And apparently Leah Bennett standing 10 feet behind us in a cream wool trench coat and $600 worth of highlights, pretending she wasn't on the same flight. Leah lifted a hand in a bright little wave when our eyes met, then immediately looked embarrassed by her own boldness. She had perfected that expression over the last year, half innocent, half flirtatious, all performance. At 31,